Thank you for listening to Shulchanaruchharav.com.
A Tefillin wearing checklist according to the Chabad custom. In this lesson we will review the Seder Hanachas Tefillin, the order in which the Tefillin is to be worn from the beginning to the end. We will begin with general preparations. Number 1. It is proper for one to immerse in a mikveh prior to putting on Tefillin, as aside from the Hasidic custom to immerse daily prior to davening, those who wear a Beinu Tam are especially required to have extra Kedusha, and some write that one is to immerse in a mikveh prior to putting on Tefillin of Beinu Tam. This especially applies to a person who is a Baal Keri. Nonetheless, the above is only a hiddur, and even a person who does not immerse is to put on Tefillin, even of Beinu Tam, as usual. Number 2. Some are accustomed to wash the skin and hair of the head and bicep prior to putting on the Tefillin in order to remove any possible chatzitzas, as lice, dirt, dust, glue from a band-aid, and the material of the like is all considered a chatzitza in these areas and therefore have to be washed off, and due to this, some are accustomed to shower these areas before putting on tefillin in the morning. Number 3. One is to be very careful not to wear tefillin with wet hair, whether this is due to water from a shower or mikvah or due to sweat, as doing so can ruin the parshias and ruin the squareness of the batin, and cause him to become puzzle. Therefore, one who sweats a lot or one who just went to mikvah or took a shower should use a towel to dry his hair prior to putting on his tefillin. Number 4. The Chabad custom is to say the prayers of the morning blessings and karbanis until the paragraph of Ezu Makaiman prior to putting on the talis and tefillin. Number 5. Those who are putting on the tefillin very early in the morning must make sure that it is past the time of Mishayakir, as only from that time and onwards are we allowed to wear tefillin. Number 6. According to the Zohar, one is supposed to put on his talis and tefillin at his home prior to walking to shul. Alternatively, one is unable to do so, such as it's not tznius in the area, or other reasons, is to put on its talis and tefillin in an adjacent room to the main sanctuary and only then enter the shul. Many are accustomed to do like this latter approach, and so was the Rebbe's custom. Number 7. Those who wear a talis gadol are to put it on prior to putting on the tefillin. This is a halacha, and not just a chumrah. Number 8. It is customary amongst Chassidim to recite and contemplate chapter 41 in Tanya before putting on tefillin before davening. Number 9. Prior to putting on tefillin, one is to intend to fulfill the mitzvah of Hashem as mitzvahs tzrichas kavanis, especially by a mitzvah deraisa. This is required from the letter of the law. Number 10. One is to verbalize or at least contemplate the particular intent that one should have when wearing tefillin, as printed in the Shulchanarukh. Consider the statements that one is to recite or contemplate prior to putting them on. This is in addition to the general command of intending to fulfill the mitzvah of Hashem, as we spoke of in step 9. This paragraph can be found in the Siddur of Tehillas Hashem prior to Matavu. Step 11. We will now begin the order of putting on the tefillin shalyat. Roll up your sleeve in a way that will give enough room for the shalyat to rest in its proper area of the bicep without any chatzitzas. There is no need to wash one's hands after doing so, even if he touches bicep in the process. Step 12. Make sure that there are no other chatzitzas by the bicep area, and verify that there is no chatzitza on the head in the area that the tefillin shel reish will rest. Number 13. Remove your watch or wristband from your tefillin arm prior to beginning to put on the tefillin. This is, however, merely a hiddur and is not required from the letter of the law. Step 14. Use your hand to gently remove the shalyat as opposed to shaking it out from the bag, and do not remove the shel reish from the bag until the shalyat is wrapped on the forearm and palm. This is a law. Number 15. Unwrap the tefillin shalyat and remove the plastic protective covering from the shalyat. This is a chumrah and the custom of Chabad Rebbes to make sure that the plastic covering is not on the tefillin at the time of saying the bracha and wrapping. Step 16. Kiss the tefillin. Many are accustomed to kiss both the ktsitza, the bias of the tefillin, as well as the yud. Step 17. We stand while we put on the tefillin. So is the law and custom for Ashkenazim. Step 18. Position the shalyat onto your bicep at least 4 millimeters above the crease of your elbow, and have it positioned no higher than the halfway point between your elbow and shoulder. This is a law. Step 19. The tefillin is to be put on facing inwards towards your heart. Step 20. Make sure that the strap which protrudes from the yud extends at least 1 centimeter in its entirety. This means that the little piece of strap that protrudes from the end of the yud at times becomes inserted inwards and loses its centimeter with minimum width. And therefore, you should take a look before you begin the bracha to make sure that it's extended its minimum width of 1 centimeter throughout its entire length to the area that it begins to slant, where the cut is. Step 21. Many Chabad Chassidim have a tradition to open the loop of the knot of the yud prior to the blessing and then fasten it after the blessing. This was not the Rebbe's custom. Step 22. Prepare for the wrapping by taking hold of the strap. Step 23. Say the bracha of Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech ha'olam asher kedishanu b'mitzvos v'tzivanu lehoniach tefillin. Making sure to emphasize the kamatz under lehoniach and not say it with a patach, which would be lahaniach, to leave the tefillin. Cover the tefillin shel yad using your talis or jacket from prior to saying the blessing until its conclusion. So is the practice according to Kabbalah, and so is the Chabad custom. Step 25. From this point and onwards, do not talk or make any gestures until the shel rosh is worn. This is a law. It is a chumrah to as well not talk and make gestures until one is finished wrapping and tying the straps around the fingers and palm. Step 26. Those Chabad Chassidim who have a tradition to open the loop prior to the blessing are to now fasten it and close the loop prior to them beginning their wrapping. Step 27. One is to now wrap the strap around the bicep 2 times, thus forming a shin by the bicep. This is the Chabad custom. Step 28. One is to make sure that the yud is touching the actual bias of the shel yad. If necessary, one can bind the strap around the yud and the bias for this purpose. This is a law. Step 29. Stretch the strap to the start of the forearm below the elbow and make a half circle wrap on the forearm and then 2 full circles around the forearm. You then make a space and wrap another 4 full circles around the forearm and then another half circle by the area of the forearm which leads to the wrist. This is the Chabad custom of wrapping. The other half is wrapped over the wrist in a diagonal fashion. Step 30. Make sure that the straps on the forearm do not touch or overlap. This is a hiddur and custom and not a requirement. Step 31. Make the form of a dalid around the back of the hand. This is done by taking the strap after making the diagonal line from the forearm to the wrist and wrapping it 1 time right under the knuckles. Step 32. Wrap the remainder of the strap around the palm. Step 33. Some are accustomed to place the plastic covering back onto the shel yad at this point. If you remember, we said in step 15 to remove the plastic covering from the shel yad before you begin the bracha. So some are accustomed to now put it back on. This was the custom of the Rebbe. The custom of the Rebbe Rashab at this point was not to cover it with a protective covering, but rather to cover it with a sleeve prior to putting on his shel rosh. Whatever the case, one should never take time to place his long shirt or sweater sleeve over his forearm for the sake of warmth, as this is considered a hefsek. In Mirz Hashem in part 2, we will continue with the list of laws and checklists for putting on the tefillin shel rosh after the tefillin shel yad has been wrapped up to step 33 that we discussed thus far.
Thank you for listening to Shulchanaruchharav.com. Our free services of making Torah knowledge available to the public depends on donors like you. Please help us continue our work through making even a small contribution at Shulchanaruchharav.com under the Daily Halacha Dedication section or in the subscription page. Also, check out our online courses and many sefarim available for purchase that will both enhance your Torah knowledge and help support our work.